Like many food and beverage manufacturers, breweries produce processed wastes. Brewery processed wastes contain a lot of organic material like yeast, spent grains, and trub. These wastes can pose a challenge to manage through municipal wastewater systems, since facilities vary in available capacity to handle high-strength wastes. Many cannot accept a large amount of brewery waste and still provide needed treatment services to the rest of the community.
The municipal wastewater treatment facility is crucial in protecting Vermont's surface waters. They're the one receiving and treating this wastewater and discharging it to the river itself. So food and beverage manufacturers can indirectly impact Vermont's surface waters if they adversely impact the wastewater treatment facility.
Our wastewater, our effluent from the brewery, goes to the Stowe wastewater treatment facility. They discharge to the Moscow River, which leads into the Waterbury Reservoir, which discharges into the Winooski River, which goes directly to Lake Champlain. So even everything that we do here, we feel is part of our responsibility for the health of Lake Champlain.
So when you're designing a brewery, one of the things that a lot of people kind of step over is wastewater generation. For us, being in South Burlington was important because this is where our community was, this is where the brewery started, this is where our roots are.
Wastewater facilities, the way I look at it, is a resource. If we have a facility that's discharging into our treatment facility, but they're not using best management practices, they're utilizing a portion of our facility that could be used as a resource for another facility to come in.
When we first started, we didn't do anything, and we just put everything down the drain. That came to an end quickly when the local sewer treatment plant was in trouble.
The brewery industry has become a fast-growing sector, and EPA is encouraged to see that many breweries have adopted best management practices in order to control high-strength organic waste from being discharged into our municipal sewer systems.
And we're just careful about a real culture of trying to use as little water as we can. No beer goes down the drains. We recycle all the cleaning chemicals that we use, so we use them over and over again. Big bulk that's left over from the brewing process, of course, is the mash. When you take the spent grain out of the mash tun, we load it into a trailer. It gets picked up on Fridays, and then goes to a dairy farm for the milking herd of some local farmers. Other parts that are left over is the yeast and also the hops that cows just don't like. So we put those in totes and we bring those to a local composting facility right in town here.
Scott is describing side streaming. Side streaming keeps processed waste separate from wastewater. The wastes are then reused or more efficiently managed. BOD, or biochemical oxygen demand, is a measure of the organic content in wastewater. An average American household produces wastewater that has a BOD of around 300 milligrams per liter.
Just before we started all of our side streaming at our Waterbury brewery, our BOD load going down to the town of Waterbury was about 20,000 milligrams per liter. After really working on our side streaming and getting as much out as we possibly can, we average around 1,500 milligrams per liter. And that's strictly just side streaming, being very crazy about catching every drop of beer, all the yeast, everything we can. We catch it and get rid of it beforehand.
Side streaming sometimes solves one problem, but creates other challenges.
So side streaming was a great process for us, but the amount of waste we were generating would necessitate a truck coming in to pick up the rollaway tank every 6 to 7 hours. And that was just for our liquid waste. So when you add on another truck coming to pick up your spent grain every 8 to 12 hours, you're getting 4 to 5 trucks a day in and out of the brewery every day we were in production. So as production grew, that traffic flow was increasing.
Chris solved his process waste problem with an anaerobic digester. Anaerobic digesters make meticulous side streaming less important because all high-strength wastewater goes to the digester where bacteria convert the organic material in the waste to methane gas, which can be used for heating or electricity. The pre-treated wastewater is then sent to the municipal wastewater treatment facility.
So the anaerobic digester provides a number of benefits, not the least of which is a business benefit for us. We're able to eliminate the trucking cost of side streaming all of our waste, and we're able to cut our electrical costs by 60%. So those net up to a big savings for the brewery. spent grain can be hauled away and used as feed supplement for local animals and farms. And the dewatering process of the digester also creates a wonderful nutrient-rich fertilizer that we can then use for local farms as well.
Bioreaction, sometimes called aerobic treatment, is a more traditional means of treating wastewater. It works by providing oxygen to microorganisms to help them break down organic wastes. It can also help remove phosphorus and other pollutants. The Alchemist uses this type of system in Stowe, Vermont.
At our brewery here in Stowe, we practice all the side streaming that we do at our Waterbury brewery, with the exception being that we have an aerobic bacteria digester here in Stowe. So the digester needs a certain amount of BOD and strength coming through to support the aerobic bacteria. So there are certain points along the line in Stowe where we don't practice the same extreme side streaming as we do in Waterbury. So our effluent coming into our wastewater pretreatment system will run about 4,000 milligrams per liter BOD. And by the time it's leaving the wastewater treatment system and going to the town of Stowe, it's down to about 0.2 milligrams per liter of BOD.
That's over a 99% reduction of BOD. 0.2 BOD is about 1,500 times less than an average household discharges.
As far as the BOD levels go, the town's wastewater treatment system was getting surcharges or just disposal charges of over $80,000 to $100,000 a year because of our discharge, which they were happy to share with us. And so we were paying $80,000 or $90,000 a year.
So Scott began to side stream, but he still had to pay $60,000 to $70,000 a year in surcharges. He then invested in a pretreatment system and eliminated the surcharges.
We've been able to get the BOD levels down to under 300 consistently, sometimes under 200. So the system will probably have about a 6-year payback for us.
In addition to high BOD, breweries can discharge large amounts of phosphorus, leading to harmful algal blooms and low oxygen levels that can harm aquatic ecosystems.
We're having a real issue in Lake Champlain, our large lake, with algae blooms, and a lot of that is contributed to excess phosphorus. So our system here, we're removing 96% of our phosphorus load before it goes down eventually to Lake Champlain.
Pretreatment programs work to regulate breweries and other food and beverage processors and ensure their wastewater streams can be safely and effectively treated by the receiving facility.
The pretreatment program relies on partners to reach any entity producing high-strength waste or discharging high-strength waste. And we use partners such as the DEC's Environmental Assistance Office, the Vermont Rural Water Association, and the EPA, and municipalities.
Craft breweries find themselves in the vanguard of an entrepreneurial, environmental movement in Vermont, New Hampshire, and around the country. They are reducing their high-strength wastewater while finding markets for their waste products. These breweries then help keep America's surface waters clean while providing their unique innovations on an American tradition.